Hello, this is John Miller, the creator of The Rest of Everest. I think I can safely say that this show is, without a doubt, the most in-depth look into the entire experience of what it takes to climb Everest, as well as some other peaks throughout the Himalayas. But all of the events in this series are shown in chronological order, so if you're new to the show, please go all the way back to episode 000 and watch everything in order. That's truly the best way to enjoy it. Thanks.
This is the Rest of Everest video podcast, an almost unabridged expedition experience. Episode 178, Basecamp Buzzkill.
Hey.
Hello again, everyone. Welcome back to the Rest of Everest. I'm John Miller. This week we're going to continue on with the next side of Mount Everest. On this trip we had the privilege of visiting two sides of the mountain, and so this week we're going to head up to the north side. And joining me on the line is Nicole, Jill, Christine, Roger, and Monica. How are all of you doing today?
Fine,
Hi,
thanks.
John. How are you?
How are you?
I'm doing great, and actually I want to introduce one more person who's vital to these expeditions. My son Sam. Can you say hi, Sam?
Hello.
So he's sitting in on this recording session this week. Very exciting. But anyway, so we had such a wonderful experience going to the east side of Everest, and it turns out that things we weren't aware at the time, but things were going to be very different going to the north side than any other times that I've experienced there. So let's head back up to the Tibetan Plateau and let's get going on our way towards the north side base camp. So here we go.
Oh, your focus is always good.
This is some great footage that Tilo shot. So we've already made it up to, at this point, we've already made it up to the Rongbuk Monastery, which is that really, this the highest monastery in the world, near the foot of Mount Everest on the north side. And this was the feeding of the yaks in the morning. And I love watching this footage. What the monk there is feeding the yaks is sampa, big balls of sampa. And it looks chewy.
Wow, wasn't aware that the yaks eat sampa too.
Yeah.
It's like a Cliff Bar for yaks.
It certainly is an all-purpose food up there. But look at me. I just like watching how they're chewing it. It's so funny. Sampa. I had never seen them do this before. This is cool to watch. Were all of you here for this, or were you guys across the road at the tea house when this was happening?
I think I was at the tea house.
I have no idea.
I did see, many of these yaks. I think it was when I woke up in the morning, and I was just amazed how many there were. Just right next to our tents. And,
we were in the herd. So we literally camped. I don't think I have any footage of camp really. But we camped right in front of the monastery, just on the grass, right in front of the monastery, right next to the road. And the reason we did that, here comes Chris Marquardt. The reason we did that is because the Northside Base Camp is very different now than it was in the previous visits that I'd made. It really was pretty much closed down to the tourist traffic. You can still climb and everything as normal, but it's really kind of under lockdown because it's so easy to get to. You can drive right up there. A lot of people were interested in going up and protesting Tibet, China's policy towards Tibet. And it's just very easy to do that, so they wanted everything under kind of lock and key to make sure that none of that happened. so we couldn't even stay up at base camp.
That made me tired.
I know. Yep, last time I was here we had to pressure breathe all the way up just to make it up the stairs without passing out.
That's nice.
Could you understand it, Roger?
Yep.
No, I could not read that.
So what's going on here is Roger and I, the rest of the group headed up towards base camp, and we decided to take a little detour and go to the cave where Buddha visited.
Like
I hadn't been there since
Southwest
2003.
United States, then. What you'd think of out here?
Well, I guess this is the man.
Up the stairs, yeah.
You gotta leave.
Okay, I'm at some more.
So the whole area is very different now than 10 years ago when I was there, and
Hey, that's our group.
it was nice to see that this hadn't changed one bit.
Still walking?
It's like they hesitated and they might be coming back. Or maybe this is another group. Let's see. There were 4, right?
No, they're all
That's not them.
they're all dressed in black.
Yeah, that's not them. Well, there's Everest picking up.
Yep.
And I think everyone would agree that
Head on in there.
it hadn't changed, that there was still a surprise. Roger, would you agree with that? There was still quite a surprise to be seen inside there.
It was a big surprise to me. Didn't bring my flashlight. That blood-splattered wall there put me off just a little.
What kind of monks are these?
This looks like a storeroom.
It's through here.
Yeah. Oh. You're in. Okay.
I think my tripod was on my backpack and I was getting stuck everywhere. All these doorways are so low. I kept hanging up on my tripod.
Plus, you're so short that
Should I go in? I think we come out the same way.
Yep, so we're on those steps. I'm gonna leave my bag up here. Here, I'm gonna go for it. So, this is the cave where the manifestation of Buddha came down hundreds of years ago. Haven't been here since 1993. And Roger and I are gonna check it out because Roger is a kindred spirit. And he's into this too, so go for it, man.
I don't know where the hell I got 1993 from. I just said 1993.
There's steps actually behind you.
hypoxia.
Okay.
Stone steps,
You can always blame that.
What steps?
Whoa.
I can see why you've kept this under top secret.
There should be a bunch of lamps on.
Plenty of light. Not a lot of headroom.
Little
Nope.
inside joke there between Roger and I.
I've been in a lot of Buddhist
Oh,
caves,
thank you.
but I've never seen a manifestation like that.
Oh yeah.
I've been here before. 7 years ago. They're all offerings. That's the god right there.
Yes.
There's Buddha.
This. Saya masang bawah. This. Saya masang bawah.
Buddha's footprint?
Yeah, this. Yeah, saya masang bawah.
I see.
Okay. This is. This is. This is. This. This. Okay. You look
Okay.
it? Yeah. This is saya masang bawah.
Yeah.
Okay.
You look it.
Thank you.
No problem.
So, I think he's showing us footprints of Buddha in the rock. Hard to see.
With all the basically the lamp, butter lamp ash
Yeah,
over the centuries, but
everything's black from burning candles.
right next to you.
Nice little statue in here, golden Buddha.
It's the most annoyed looking statue of Buddha I've ever seen.
Because he lives in a dark, smoky cave.
Yeah. So Roger, you had been in I'm sure you've been in a bunch of
Oh yeah.
caves. You happen to live in Japan and have for quite some time. So what? How did this compare with some of the other places you've been?
It was pretty primitive compared to some of the others I've seen. A lot of them in China are extremely well decorated and contain a lot of art objects. But they're more like carved out of the rock into like indoor temples. This is a natural cave, it seems to me.
It seems to me to really fit the remoteness of the location.
Yeah, yeah.
Aside from the fact that you can drive there, it's still very remote.
It's a tough drive.
It's yeah.
Stabilize it right here, maybe.
So the rest of the group there, did everyone walk up to base camp, or were you driven up to base camp? I literally cannot remember.
I was on a bus with a few of the group members, and then another few walked. I don't remember who those were.
Yeah, I was on the bus too. We just walked the last part up to that hill, to that viewpoint.
Look right here, right here. I don't know if that will work.
The line in the sand.
I'm trying to put as much light on
Yeah.
him as I can. If that helps. Tell me if it doesn't help.
Yeah, the Rongbuk Monastery is, I think it's 7 kilometers
No, that's not even what
from
I'm saying.
base camp proper.
Use that as a tripod. Okay.
And this cave is just a little bit up the road from the monastery itself.
I didn't want to ride the bus to base camp, so I'm glad that we got a chance to walk.
It would have taken you guys an hour. Would that be right?
Yeah,
That's about right.
It's about that, yeah.
Sampa. Oh, barley. Sapa. Yeah.
I'm still amazed, Roger, that you did the whole trek plus the trip on that pair of running shoes.
I'm gonna stop rolling now.
And it's
Yeah, it worked out for me.
I wasn't sure whether my hiking boots were tough enough.
That's right. Anyway, so I'm gonna stop rolling now and just enjoy this place. But thanks for coming back with me after all these years. Thanks, Roger.
You're welcome.
Yeah, obviously we just filmed a tiny bit of our walk up to base camp, but I have to say that was one of the most enjoyable few hours of the trip for me. So thanks a lot, Roger. But so this is base camp. I know it probably looks a little bit familiar, but this was a very different base camp that we came upon than my previous visits there. As I said before, things were locked down. And so when you guys arrived there, and we have very little footage for good reason, what happened? What were you told, those of you who took the bus up, what were you told when you arrived thinking you could just stroll into base camp?
You cannot bring anything. You cannot go in. You cannot carry your camera. The rules just got laid on pretty thick.
Yeah. They wanted us to leave the backpacks in the control point, almost everything. So we should have walked to the viewpoint without our backpacks, without camera, literally only with the clothes we have on. But then Nicole did us a favor and talked to those guys.
Yeah, so what happened there, Nicole?
Yeah, it's an interesting experience, although not unexpected for me, given that, I know that, this is sort of the type of things that go on, I guess. So basically, I mean, we were told that we couldn't, like Monica said, we couldn't bring the cameras and backpacks. And then, they were checking through all the pictures in our cameras, if anyone remember.
Yeah.
So they asked us to take out the cameras and then show them all the pictures we've taken, and obviously there were thousands. And then I was saying, look, we're just traveling, and because I was able to speak Chinese, and obviously I look Chinese, and obviously I am, I guess, that that they were probably lenient towards me, and then I was probably being like nice. I think there were one or two officers that were quite sort of, what's the word, like, that were quite sort of gung-ho about not, letting us pass in that kind of way. But then I just said, look, some of these people, they have their medicines in them, and we just have water and some warm clothing. We really just want to see the base camp. And then I think one other that was quite sort of like, he was probably kinder than the other two, and he just let us, and then he just sort of like said, yeah, we'll be fine, and let us pass. And so I thanked him, and so that was that. I was actually quite glad that, that, because at the beginning I was quite worried. I think, some of the, like, we got clothes we want to bring in with us, and probably water, and we're going to be there for a little while, and if we weren't allowed to bring them, I was a bit worried for the group and things. But yeah, I think it was a good experience for me, because it actually showed that if I keep calm, somebody else would turn up and think, everything's fine. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I was quite glad that I didn't panic as much as I felt, really.
She was great, because I was standing next to her, and when there were hesitations, I would say, tell them that, I'm really sick and I need all that medicine, because I'm really, really sick, and I I can hardly, and I would just kind of give her ideas. And I think,
but yeah, I mean that as well as we have food in it, and we were going to be there for a while because we
were
couldn't
planning
see
on
Everest.
going to all the different teams' camps and everything. We were kind of looking forward also to kind of schmoozing with some of the climbers.
Yeah, and also I think we couldn't see the peak, like it was overcast. So, I mean, a few of us were trying to. I mean, we all wanted to stay there for a while until it clears, so we could see the peak. So we were going to be there for a while. We needed water and food and clothing. So I actually thought, there was, and obviously we weren't trying to do anything. So, I really didn't say anything unreasonable. But then the thing is, they're the ones who really are the authority. So, you really just have to work with them, I guess.
They searched my bag and I had my college flag in there, and they confiscated it.
wow.
Yeah, I had that banner. I want to take some photos of banner of my spine surgeon, and yeah, they confiscated our stuff. But I believe it was Nicole. I believe you helped us get it back. I think
I did. I don't remember that.
As a rule, they confiscated stuff and just kept it, but we were able to get it back with your help.
I did. I didn't remember that actually.
I took my little banner that I had for Debbie's dream and put it down my pants before I got off the bus. And Monica shot many pictures, and they came out great. And Chris isn't here to defend himself, but he was really, really nervous about that part. So I won't say more.
Like if the officers couldn't understand what was on the flag, they'd probably be very nervous. I don't know. Maybe they get in trouble if any of these things ever get out. And so, like I was saying to them, look, there's nothing. Probably I said something like, there's nothing in the, that they're just,
They're so uptight about flags that they confiscated my flag, and then when I tried to take a picture of their own flag on the flagpole, they waved me off and said, "Don't take that picture." So, they won't even let us take a picture of their flag.
I think they're very uptight. I do agree with that. I do think they can relax a little bit, but it's very hard for these people, I think.
Yeah, they're just carrying out orders. I mean, they were
exactly. They're doing the job, and
maybe something like that.
Yeah,
I remember a couple of the guys being like 17 or 18 years old.
Yeah.
Just really young.
I think the main thing is if they don't understand, they don't want to get themselves into trouble. So, if someone could explain to them that, there's nothing really serious here, or there's nothing that they worry about.
But it was just, it was a real, well, as I've named this episode, Basecamp Buzzkill. We were kind of expecting to go up there and kind of hang out and, have a nice afternoon, but instead it was just a real letdown. It was really anticlimactic.
Plus, we were restricted to that little area on top of that hill.
Yeah, that's why there's pretty much no footage. This is all footage here is all back at the Rongbuk Monastery, 7 kilometers away from the guards. And Everest, we had just a few moments where you could see the summit. Otherwise, it was pretty cloudy. But it kind of just goes to reinforce just how special that trip to the Kangshung face was, Not just for those of you who actually went up to base camp, but just the entire experience was just so. It was ours. It was all ours. For the 10 days that we had leading up to this.
I think I didn't appreciate how much we were lucky with the weather when we were up in the east face. Or the East Base Camp until we got here, and I realized that it was always cloudy and that the summit was actually very difficult to come out in full view. So I felt very lucky then.
It's still even with the cloud cover, it still is a pretty dramatic dramatic view. That Rongbuk Valley just leading up to the summit is it's incredible. It just really is. But that's all the footage we have for the Northside Basecamp. It's pretty hard to believe all that way, and just really didn't film anything because there wasn't a whole lot to film. We did spend a lot of time in a tea house across the road from the monastery. You saw a few photographs inside of it, especially there's one of a little girl that Monica took. That's just a beautiful photograph. But we spent a lot of time in there, but I think we were just hanging out with each other. We weren't really taking many photos, or I certainly wasn't filming. And just one of those things where, it's just nice to share in each other's company out there. But next week's episode, we're going to get back on the road and head, honestly, we're going to start heading back towards Kathmandu. Our experience with Everest has come to a conclusion, and now it's time to get back to Kathmandu and actually fly home. But we still have some adventures on the way back. It's still quite a drive to Kathmandu from Everest Base Camp, and we experienced some cool things on the way. There was a little blood involved as well, but we'll get into that over the next few weeks.
Spoiler.
But in any case, thanks so much, guys. Really appreciate having you along, and yeah, I guess we'll talk to you next week.
Okay,
Thanks,
bye.
John.
Bye, John.
Bye.
The Rest of Everest is downloaded all over the world every day, and watching the show has become a part of many people's weekly routine. The show will always be free to download, but it's by no means free to produce. Please help me cover my costs by making a small monthly or one-time donation from the right sidebar on my website, and in return I'll give you some cool bonus materials. A donation of any amount will grant you access to some interesting video content, including high-definition versions of several podcast episodes. A one-time donation of $25 or more, or any of the monthly donation options, will additionally grant you access to a downloadable version of the film Everest the Other Side, which episodes 1 to 61 are based on. I really cannot express how vital these donations are, and if you've made a donation, thank you so much. As always, our announcer is Marlon May, and our music is provided by Wendy Wu. Check her out at wendywu.com. Thanks so much, everyone, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you for watching The Rest of Everest. For more information on the expedition, please visit therestofeverest.com.